Hello and welcome back. I hope that your pre-assessment went well, and I hope you guys like the plickers. I know that it's a little confusing in the beginning, but I like that it's more interactive between you and your cohort leaders. And I think it's really fun that you guys get to move around, because lately we have not been able to move around because of COVID. So before we get into our official lesson, you guys will see that we're going to start openers again, just some questions that I want you guys to answer before we get into our homework. So go ahead and open up opener for 119, which is today's date. And you guys are going to answer what you think plants need or require to grow. So I'll give you guys a couple minutes. And then afterwards, cohort teachers, go ahead and ask your kiddos for a couple of responses and see if they thought the same thing. All right, so we have answered our opening question, which you guys, I know you guys have learned about plants and photosynthesis before, but now we are going to go a little bit more in depth with it. Now that we are sixth graders in a middle school, now I feel like we can start learning about why photosynthesis needs to occur. So go ahead and cohort leaders, go ahead and pass out the what is photosynthesis worksheets and pause me. And when you guys are done, go ahead and start playing this again. Okay, so now that all of you guys have your what is photosynthesis worksheet, go ahead and put your name up at the top and make sure it's both first and last name. Sixth graders, I keep telling you this and I keep getting work that just says your first name. So please, first and last name. Makes it easier for me to grade. Okay, so what you guys are going to do is I'm going to read this out to you, but mine's going to be in a PowerPoint form. So you guys are going to follow along with me for this first page. This is what is going to be on the PowerPoint. Then we're going to go through this last question and the fill in the blank on the last page, which we have a word bank down here. So these are the words that you're going to use to fill in what we just went through. So this information you can also find on the front page filled out. So, but you're going to read along with me first. So everybody should be on the first page and you should not be going ahead. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up my photosynthesis slide. You guys will see my face and we're going to go through it one at a time. So we're going to be up at the very top on this left side. So what is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is how plants make their own food to eat. So my plant right here, it doesn't need a mouth to eat with. It doesn't need to go to the grocery store. It doesn't need to fill up its refrigerator every week and cook for its family because it creates its own food. So plants need three things in order to do this. It obviously needs the sunlight. We can't, my little plant would not survive, which it's not doing so hot right now, and I don't know why. It won't survive without sunlight, so usually plants are in the windowsill. It also needs water. If we do not water our plants, then it will go ahead and dry up and shrivel up and die, and we don't want that. It also needs CO2, which is called carbon dioxide. This is what we exhale when we breathe. So we breathe in oxygen, so go ahead and breathe in. And then as we release our breath, we are expelling mostly carbon dioxide, which is exactly what these little guys need to perform photosynthesis. Okay, so what is photosynthesis? So just like you, plants breathe in air, which is made up of, because we talked about our atmosphere, what our atmosphere is made out of, carbon dioxide, oxygen, and other chemicals are also in the air, but those are the two main ones. When plants breathe in, they need carbon dioxide, where when humans breathe, we need oxygen. You may have heard this, that talking to plants helps them grow. Well, it's true, not because they like to hear that they're beautiful or that they're so smart or that they're doing really good things, but it's because when we breathe on them, we're giving them carbon dioxide. And that's what happens when we exhale. So that's us, We breathe out carbon dioxide, and then it undergoes photosynthesis, or it does photosynthesis, and it then exhales oxygen, just not through its mouth, it's just through their leaves. They also drink water, so they need water just like all living creatures to survive. Since plants cannot move around from place to place, they suck up their water through their roots to their stems and then into their leaves. So if we were planted in the ground, we would bring up that water through our feet, into our body, and then let's say out through our hands. That's kind of like their roots to their stems to their leaves. Okay, so what is photosynthesis down to the nitty-gritty? The last key ingredient is sunlight. A plant's green leaves are made up of tiny cells filled with what we call chloroplasts. So everybody go ahead and say chloroplasts as a group. I'm sure that was painful, so let's try that again. Chloroplasts. So in our leaves here, let me try to make me a little bit bigger. Let's see. Boom, wow, I'm right in the middle of the screen. Okay. So in our leaves, this guy has purple leaves underneath, which is kind of cool. But in our leaves, there are these tiny things. These are made up of chloroplasts, which make plants green. So this one was kind of a bad example because it has purple, and plants can be all sorts of different colors. But this green up here at the top, that's what chloroplasts do to leaves because they are green in color itself. Let me make me smaller. Okay, so chloroplasts take in the carbon dioxide that we exhale, water, and sunlight, and turn it into sugar or food for the plant. You guys can see that? It's sugar or food for the plant. And that's not like tabletop sugar that we have, like that white processed stuff. Sugar comes in a very natural form with them, and it's called glucose, which I don't think is on here. It is not, but sugar. So it makes its own type of sugar, not the way that we see it, but that's what their food is. It's ultimately sugar. And we see that these are the chloroplasts, and we'll take a look at a closer look at a real leaf so that we can see those. But for right now, we get a pixelated photo. Okay, so oxygen is then exhaled back out into the air. So this complete process is known as photosynthesis. So it takes in that carbon dioxide, takes in that sunlight, and it also takes in the water. And the chloroplasts take all of those three ingredients, and then they create their sugar, which is their food, and then they also create that oxygen that they exhale. So this is why rainforests are so important, because they provide 20 to 30% of Earth's oxygen supply. So when we say that they're killing our rainforests, that we need to make sure that we conserve our nature preserves, this is really important, because without plants, we would not be able to breathe. Our atmosphere would not be livable for us. Humans depend on plants not only as a source of food, but also for a large part of the oxygen in the air. Okay, this is the last slide, and I'm going to move me up a little bit so that we can see. Plants and trees help the earth too by absorbing some of the greenhouse gases, which we don't really know about yet. We've talked about some of the harmful gases that can be in our atmosphere, but we haven't gone into specifics. So just remember that greenhouse gases are bad. So I know greenhouse is usually a good thing, but the greenhouse effect, which makes when you walk into a greenhouse, it's really, really warm. If that were to happen all over the earth, that would be a really bad thing. So that is why they're called greenhouse gases that hurt the atmosphere. The truth is, we need plants and trees as much as they need us. So go ahead and explain with this up. I'm going to keep this up on the screen for you guys, why people need plants and trees. Okay, so now what we are going to do is, because we have all of this on that first page, go ahead and I want you guys to try to fill this out without going to the front page with this word bank. So you guys are going to go ahead and fill this out. And then if you have not completed it, go ahead and take this home as homework. I hope this was an okay way of doing things, and I will see you guys tomorrow.